presented this week by George Perry.
Radio Brum Club.
Hello and welcome to Radio Brum Club, and as you can hear, the gang's all here.
Hooray!
Oh, we've got lots of them here this morning, and on the programme today we're going to be talking about tape-spondence, and if you don't know what that means, well, join the club because I don't either. But we have got an expert with us, Fred Parsons. Fred, what is tape-spondence?
Well, vaguely and roughly speaking, it is being a pen pal, but instead of using a pen and paper, use a microphone and a piece of tape.
And that's it, so you're sending
That's
letters
it.
in sound?
That's it, yes.
And to places all over the world?
All over the world, all over the country as well. Friends, relations, brothers and sisters if they're away.
Well, we'll be hearing a lot more about that later on in the programme. We've also got music for you on Radio Brum Club, and we're going to start off right now with a new release. It's by Arnold Corns, and it's called Hang On To Yourself.
Father had a good thing going, and you know, Mama had a thing on. My baby got out last Monday, and me, I'm on a radio show. So come on, we really got a good thing going. Come on, if you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. My father had a good thing going, and you know, Mama had a thing on the street. My baby got out last Monday, and me, I'm on a radio show. So come on, we really got a good thing going. Well, come on, if you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. Well, come on, we really got a good thing going. Well, come on, if you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. Well, come on, we really got a good thing going. Well, come on, if you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. All right.
There we are, Arnold Corns with Hang On To Yourself. Well, what do we think of that one, Robert?
Well, to me it sounded like a poor reproduction of David Bowie.
And a funny thing you should say that, because in fact the writer of it is David Bowie. So you've got something there, William?
Yes, well, I don't like the record at all, and I think probably this is David Bowie. I think he's just trying to see if a record can make it without a big name. And I wouldn't be at all surprised, anyway, I won't say it definitely is, but it's an extremely ordinary song. It's just a few gimmicks here and there, and not much at all.
So if it is David Bowie, better start looking out.
Well, I've never thought much of him anyway, so I'm not surprised.
Oh, we'll have the David Bowie fans writing in. How about you? Did you like it?
No, I didn't like the record. It sounded like early T-Rex and David Bowie. The only good bit was the guitars in the middle.
Well then, let's vote on it, should we? Hang On To Yourself by Arnold Corns. If you think it's going to get into the top 20, shout hit. Oh, deathly silence. If you think it's going to be a miss, shout miss.
Miss.
There we are, another miss, and since we started having new releases on Radio Brum Club, I think we've only said hit to one record. It was from New World, Do It Again. So I've heard that being played quite a few times, and maybe we're going to be right on that one. It might get into the top 30 yet. Anyway, back to tape spondence, and to you, Fred. How many years have you been a tape spondent?
About 10 years altogether.
Yeah. How did you get involved in it?
I used to have a magazine, and in it was an advert for people who wanted to have their little adverts put in asking for tape spondents. So you write down your hobbies like photography, tape recording, going out recording birds and what have you. So I put down tape recording was a hobby and filming was a hobby, as well as transparencies. I received 3 or 4 replies, and from then it just grew and grew and grew, and now I've got about 15, I suppose, altogether.
Must keep you pretty busy.
Yeah, well, it does up to a point, but it's a hobby. It's better than going out and drinking beer, I think.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for that as well, of course, but I see what you're getting at. Now then, Jim, you've got a question.
Is it expensive?
Initially, it can be expensive, but if you've got very understanding parents who want to buy you an expensive birthday present or Christmas present that will last you a long time, then they can spend as little as £12 or as much as £200 or £300 on the equipment for you.
Now, we are talking, obviously, here about the tape recorder.
Yeah.
Would you recommend a tape recorder rather than a cassette?
Well, the cassette is the best because it's easily compactable for postage.
Mm.
And there is a postal service called Small Packets, and you can send these overseas airmail rates at a cheaper cost than an ordinary airmail package.
Now, you're saying that the cassettes are easier to handle, but in fact you showed me this morning a very tiny spool of tape, didn't you?
Yes.
How small was that one?
It was about 1.25 inches across, and it weighs half an ounce, and it costs about 9p to send it from here to Australia.
So, the actual postal charges then aren't very high at all?
No, not really.
William?
Yes, I was wondering who you actually send these tapes to.
Anyone who's interested in taping, and anyone can be your own relatives overseas, or as in my case, people who I have never met, with the exception of 1 or 2. And you get these addresses from tape spondence clubs, and if you buy any hi-fi magazine, there's usually a list of tape sponding clubs in the back amongst all the other adverts.
Now then, you've obviously had lots of tape sent to you. Can you tell us about one of them?
Yes, I sent one to a laddie and asked him if he'd read in the newspapers about chips being introduced into America, and he informed me that they already were introduced.
Hear about fish and chips being introduced in this country, but what you call chips we call French fries over here, and they are very popular. They always have been, and at the university there are in front of the library at least 4 or 5 trucks which sell French fries in a little bag for 20 cents, and they are liberally sprinkled with salt, and you can also have ketchup put on them. And the trucks also sell, of course, hamburgers and hot dogs and pizza and such things as that, soda and all.
So apart from the pleasure you get from this hobby, Fred, you learn quite a bit too.
Oh yes, it's very good for history and geography as well.
Indeed it is. Let's turn now to you, William Buckley. You've got a hobby which you obviously learned something from it, and one day you might make a lot of money from it as well.
Well, I hope so, yes, that's my aim.
What is it? What's the hobby?
It's songwriting.
How long have you been writing songs?
Well, my very first bit of writing was when I was 11, and I wrote a sort of tiny little musical, in fact it was, for when we left primary school, and I did 2 or 3 little songs and a bit of dialogue in the middle about an Eastern princess and all the usual things, and it went down very well. But I didn't really write anything else until I got to 13, and then I started fairly regularly penning songs.
Now, you sound like a prolific songwriter. How old are you, in fact?
I'm 15.
15, so in 2 years, how many songs have you written?
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint you here. Not an awful lot, only about 12, because I find that I have a lot of ideas in my head, but I don't tend to write them down until I've got something definite to use them for, you see.
No, you don't just write the lyrics, do you? You write the music as well, obviously.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which is more difficult?
Oh, the lyrics. I always start with a musical idea in my head, and I get all that done, and then I've got to work on the lyrics, which I don't particularly enjoy, whereas I enjoy the music very much.
And I suppose you can get inspiration for the music theme anywhere, can you? In school, at home?
Yes, in fact, I even had one idea under canvas. I was away on a short camping holiday, and it was my first night, and I wasn't quite used to the bed, and I got the whole idea for this song, with most of the lyrics as well, before I dropped off, and luckily it hadn't gone the next morning.
I was going to say, it'd be a bit sad if you forgot it overnight, wouldn't it?
It would have been, yes, but it's still with me.
Now, you play the piano, as we're hearing in a moment. What
Yes.
else?
Well, I play the organ a bit, and I'm also a novice on the oboe, but the piano is my main instrument. I prefer it.
Have you had any success yet?
Yes, I've had a fair bit of success. My first success was actually with Radio Birmingham about 18 months ago, when they featured one of my songs and did a little interview. And then I went on Junior Showtime about 6 months after that, and then there hasn't been very much since then. It's been a bit of a lull. So
But you're still fighting?
Oh, I am, yes, yes.
Well, I hope you'll still visit us on Brum Club,
I'd
will you?
love to, thank
when
you.
you're very successful.
Oh, of course, yes.
You must know what it's like then to be David Bowie when he hears that we didn't think much of Hang On To Yourself by Arnold Corns.
Well, yes, that's true. I've had a lot of disappointments. I remember at first when I used to write letters, I would always expect to get something out of them, but now I'm getting adjusted to that, and I don't mind the disappointments so much.
Well, let's hear one of your compositions then. It's called All Kinds of People.
Every day I see you sit alone, sitting there in your room, on your own, filled with gloom and far from home. As you cry, people are passing by. They have no time to spare, no time to care. They don't even notice you there. But there are all kinds of people in all kinds of places, and each has found love but a few. If they can, then why can't you? Yes, there are all kinds of people in all kinds of places, and each has found love in their way. Go out and find love today. Don't you see, somewhere there's bound to be someone who feels the same as you do, just as lonely, just as blue. So take the break, you're making no mistake. Leave all your cares behind, and you may find someone who's loving and kind. For there are all kinds of people in all kinds of places, and each has found love but a few. If they can, then why can't you? Yes, there are all kinds of people in all kinds of places, and each has found love in his way. Go out and find love today, for there are all kinds of people in all kinds of places, and each has found love but a few. If they can, then why can't you? Each has found love in his way. Go out and find love today.
There we are, Brum Club member William Buckley was singing his own composition, All Kinds of People. And for any record producers that are listening, what do we think of that one? Is it going to be a hit?
Yes.
Great, there you are then. You'll soon be on record, William.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Now, one voice that you might not be hearing, well, in fact, what a silly comment you're not hearing, of course, because he's hundreds of miles away on the ocean wave, is Roger Thomas, who's on board SS Navassa with all those Birmingham school children heading for Madeira. I had a letter to do with this from Mrs. Eustace, 96 Manor Farm Road, Greet in Birmingham. She wrote to me to say that her son Stephen was going on the Navassa, and he'd very much like me to talk to him on board. He'll be with all the other children, she says, and he goes to Greet School, Warwick Road in Greet. Well, Mrs. Eustace, as you can hear, I am stuck here in the heart of Birmingham, at Radio Birmingham. It's Roger, in fact, that's on board the SS Navassa, but I did pass your letter on to him, and I'm sure he'll be having a chat with your son, Stephen. Now, we've been talking about tape spondon, so we thought it'd be a very good idea, Fred, if Roger, whilst he was on board SS Navassa, was to send us a tape to tell us how he's getting on, and you'll never guess what's happened.
This is Roger Thomas saying hello to all Brum Club members. Well, I'm in Madeira at the moment, the weather is fine, and we're having a marvellous time. I want to tell you that last night on the ship, as we were steaming towards Madeira, we had a special disco, especially for all the Brum Club members. We invited all the other children, and it was really a really swinging session. They've asked me to say that all of you who are in Birmingham, if you ever get the chance to take a cruise like this, please do it. So this is Roger saying to Brum Club, I hope the programme's going well, and keep pestering George Perry.
Well, he's a lucky devil. Now then, Helen Yardley, a Brum Club member, is with us this morning, and you've been along to the cinema to see one of the new films, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's the film, Helen?
Well, it is Swallows and Amazons.
And what was it like?
Well, I thought it was very good. And I went along with some of the children from Brum Club, and I think they enjoyed it as well.
Now, it's based on one of the Arthur Ransom books, isn't it?
Yes.
Swallows and Amazons, of course. Now, whenever I go to a film and see children involved in the film, very often I spend the 90 minutes cringing, being embarrassed because the children are such poor actors and actresses. Were they in fact good?
Yes, I thought they were for children.
So you can say to anybody listening, go and watch Swallows and Amazons.
Yes.
Well, there you are. It's on general release. Many thanks to you, Helen, for reviewing it for us, and it sounds like a jolly good film. And now on Radio Brum Club, news of a big competition called the Big Pickup. If you're under 14, why don't you join in on this competition and collect lolly sticks and cantop rings and help to keep the country beautiful and save those animals and birds? Now, last year when they ran the competition, they collected nearly 3/4 of a ton of lolly sticks and cantop rings, and in 1974 they want 3 to 4 tons. So there's a lot of work to be done between now and September. There's some great prizes. Let me go briefly over them. First prize is a weekend trip to one of Europe's biggest zoos in Frankfurt for one child and one adult. And the second prize of £75, third prize of £50, a fourth prize of £25, and there's a fifth prize of a Kodak camera. And also many other prizes given by zoos all over the country. Now, if you'd like to enter for this competition, it's very simple. All you've got to go out and do is search for lolly sticks and cantop rings. You must bundle up your lolly sticks into bundles of 100, and wooden ice cream spoons or plastic stirrers must be tied in separate bundles. And they suggest here that they're dipped in disinfectant in the interests of hygiene. So they don't have pegs on the noses when they undo the parcels. Do bundle them up, won't you? And if they are wooden, dip them into disinfectant first. Now, cantop rings, they must be strung in hundreds. Once you've got your collection together, tie all the bundles and strings together and label clearly, giving your name, age and address in block letters. Then you've got to send your entries to the Tropical Bird Gardens, and they're at Road, Bath in Somerset. The Tropical Bird Gardens at Road, Bath in Somerset. And if you want to, in fact, you can send them along to our rivals, Calico Pie at BBC Radio Bristol. We've got Radio Brum Club, which is great. They've got Calico Pie, which is not so great. But if you want to send them along to them, then do so. The address, Calico Pie, BBC Radio Bristol, 3 Tyndalls Park Road, Bristol. And then they'll take them forward to the national competition for you. I'll give you that address again in a minute, but to get people interested in the Big Pickup, they've even written a song about it called the Lolly Stick Song.
Pick up all the lolly sticks and cantop rings, spare a little thought for our friends with wings, and all of the animals and furry little things that never get the licks, just the sticks and stings. Forests turn to wooden things, iron turn to metal rings. What a price for man to pay for risk and danger thrown away. Pick up all the lolly sticks and cantop rings, spare a little thought for our friends with wings, and all of the animals and furry little things that never get the licks, just the sticks and stings. So here's a game that you can play. anytime you're on your way. See how many things you find lying around our countryside, and pick up all the lolly sticks and can-top rings, and spare a little thought for our friends with wings, and all of the animals and furry little things that never get the licks, just the sticks and stings.
So then, Radio Brum Clubbers, come on then, collect all those lolly sticks and can-top rings, and the address to send them to is the Tropical Bird Gardens at Road, Bath in Somerset. And if you want to, send them along to Calico Pie, BBC Radio Bristol, 3 Tyndalls Park Road, Bristol. And the competition closes in September, by the way, so start collecting them now and you might win one of those super prizes. Now, we're always wanting to hear from you at home about Radio Brum Club, what you like, me, and what you don't like, Roger, and any ideas you've got about Radio Brum Club. So we'll give the address out, should we, Colette?
Radio Brum Club, BBC Radio Birmingham, Pebble Mill Road, Birmingham, B5 7SA.
And if they don't feel like writing, they can telephone us.
021 if you live outside the Birmingham area, 472 5141.
OK, so there you are. There's the address and the telephone number. So do write in. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and what you'd like to hear every Saturday morning on Radio Brum Club. Now then, back to you, Fred, and William's got a question.
Yes, Fred, I'm wondering if any of our listeners are interested, who should they contact?
Well, they can buy a magazine and look in the back for all these tape club things that I've mentioned before, or they can write to any consulate or embassy in London or Birmingham and say, can you please send me a list of your local radio stations? Then write out for a request, and instead of giving a message for a birthday or something, say, please, anybody interested in tape sponding, let me know and I'll send you a tape.
Now, when we read Roger Thomas's report, which should have been on tape, but which we couldn't hear, I've noticed that he did, in fact, script his. Do you script your pieces?
I do normally script the replies. You listen to the tape and you make notes as you're listening to it, and then you've got some sort of script to work on. And this normally takes up half the tape in reply. And then the next half is your questions and queries on things that you want answered and discussed.
Of course, the more interesting it is, the more professional you are.
Yes, exactly.
If you try harder, you get more out of it.
Yeah.
How many tape spondents did you say that you have now?
About 10 to 15.
10 to 15 of them. And how often do you send tapes out?
About once a week. Takes up about an hour of your time to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you were telling me again earlier on about somebody who wanted to buy a motorbike. Now, where was he from?
He was from Georgia, America, and he lived in a little backwoods place. And he couldn't find out any information about a BSA motorbike, so I went down to their works and asked if they could start one up for me so I could hear what it sounded like.
Well, they heard the motorbike. Did they buy it, Fred?
No, actually, he bought a Japanese one in the end.
So all your hard work was to no avail?
Yeah, but it was interesting.
Yeah, quite, sure. Can you sum up really for us the appeal for you?
Yes, it's an interesting hobby. It's a wonderful world of tape sponding. You learn a tremendous lot about other people in different parts of the world. I mean, people didn't know that England drove on the left-hand side of the road in some of the countries. And I didn't know they drove on the right either, but still, that's the point.
So you find out all sorts of interesting things, yes, and can tell the world about them as well, of course. Well, great. Thanks very much indeed for coming on to the programme this morning and telling us all about tape sponding. I'm sure you've interested quite a few Radio Brum Clubbers in the pastime. And now on to our birthday request. We've had a new release, we've had a song by William Buckley. Now let's get to the really successful ones. First of all, the list of Brum Club members with birthdays. There's Karen Bridges, who's got a birthday tomorrow. Then Shirley Chant, who's got a birthday on the 4th of June. 5th of June is the lucky day for Christine Hawksford. Same day too for Michael Powell. Then Elaine Stevenson, her birthday is today. And Tony Tranter, he's got a birthday on the 4th of June, and one that we've just had handed in to us this morning is Rosemary Evershed. Her birthday is today, so happy birthday to all of you. No expense spared. We're going right to the top of the charts to hear from the Rubettes and Sugar Baby Love.
take my advice. If you love someone, don't think twice. Love you, baby, love. Sugar, baby, love. Love her anyway. Love her every day.
There we are, the Rubettes with the #1 sound, Sugar Baby Love. I love that one, it really is funny. I especially like the bit that they talk in the middle. People, take my advice about missing Brum Club. Do think twice. Oh, my fans, yes. Well, anyway, we've come to the end of another Radio Brum Club this morning, and I'll be back next week because Roger's still all at sea. We'll be meeting some young filmmakers. We'll be going hydroplaning with a 1971 world champion hydroplane driver, Bert Noon, and there'll be music as well. So join us next Saturday morning at 10 for another Radio Brum Club. Goodbye.
Ta-da, George. Silly man. This analysis of lyrics. Good heavens, what does he think it is? The Wireless or something? That was
Radio Brum Club.
And it was presented by George Perry, and it was a George Perry Malcolm Taylor production. Walt Disney provided the pictures. Well, it says so here anyway. They do talk some nonsense on that programme, don't they? It's 29 minutes past 10, which means we have a full minute extra. Thank you, Radio Brum Club. I'll put something extra in your Christmas stocking for that. And this is BBC Radio Birmingham. Leslie Ross here, through till 12:26 and a quarter or something. I don't know, something silly. Haven't worked it out yet. Anyway, we're followed by the brass band, so you can't go wrong this morning, can you? All right, are we this morning? Yeah. I don't believe a word of it. Music this morning, lots of it. Not been a good week for new records, so some old junk. And... It's